without further ado, Vanessa, welcome her.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome job today. I'm really happy to be here and share some of the teachings that I've learned and I'm learning, and share some additional tools for our healing process. So on this sheet that I handed out, there's some information on the Aztec calendar. So I've been studying the Aztec calendar for a while. I'm Mexican, and the ancient Aztec people, I love the indigenous cultures and everything that they have to teach us. And it's a shame that we're all so disconnected at times, but we're coming back. And so the Aztecs had a way of measuring time where it was all related to the cycles of nature. And because they were so aware of the cycles of nature, they were able to hone in on what energies were present on specific days, on specific weeks, on specific periods of 20-day periods. So the Aztec month is a 20-day period called a veintena. The week is a 13-day period called a trecena. And then there's the year. And so we actually just celebrated the new Aztec year on the 12th of this month. And the year that we are now in is the year 9 house. So there's 4 types of years, and they each carry their specific theme. And then there are the 13 numbers in Aztec numerology. So the number 9 is all about bringing in all of that shadow work out into the light. And, last year we had a really deep internal year with a lot of, just the quarantining itself was like a forced shadow work, right? A forced type of going inward and saying, all right, it's time to look and see what do we have going on, right? When the world shuts down, what do you have to do but look at yourself? So a lot of us had to do our shadow work. We had no choice. And some of us, I know there are people that struggled with it because they had no idea what shadow work is. But now it's time to bring that all into the light. This is the year where that's going to start coming up. And, what we learn in the shadows is what we bring out and we share with the world. And here we are as a group coming together, and everybody sharing the things that they've learned in their own experience and their healing journey. And that's part of that energy of this year. The year is also a year house. And so years house are all about, the house is all about your physical house, your body, your home, your literal place where you live, and Mother Earth. And so it's about keeping, being in harmony in those areas. And a lot of us are going to start looking at, all right, what's my physical body trying to tell me? And, what changes do I need to make? And we're here doing breath work, we're here doing ice baths, we're here learning about techniques that are going to help us bring our bodies into a more harmonic state. For the Aztecs, house also symbolizes temple, and it refers to the spiritual bodies as well. So there, if you see this little symbol over here, it has three layers. It's the top layer, the middle layer, and the bottom layer. And so the bottom one represents the underworlds. That's our shadow work, and that's your foundation. So how anchored in are you into your shadow work? How strong is your foundation? Because if you're not doing your shadow work, you're going to end up with a rocky foundation, and any little thing is going to trigger your ego, and then everything stumbles, right? It doesn't matter how much you meditate. If you're not doing your shadow work, that trigger just throws you completely off. So it's about making sure that you have that balanced part of your underworld. The middle world is your connection to this realm. How well, how grounded are you? How well do you connect with the cycles of nature? How well do you connect with other people? How do you recognize other people in your life? And then the top part is the higher world. So, what's our spiritual practice? How do we connect to our higher self? How do you connect to spirit, to source, to whatever you want to call it? And so that's the year that we're in, all about the shadow work, bringing that to the light, and then making sure that our foundations, our 3 levels of our house, are all in order so that we can tackle this year. This particular day was actually pretty exciting to realize that today was the day 3 water. And, we're doing water work today. So the water also, there's 4 types of water in Aztec mythology or spirituality. And so it's the droughts, which represents the things that we lack in our lives. And water is all about your emotions, so that we're referring to the droughts, the things that you're lacking. The hail, which represents your destructive emotions. The floods, which are things that we experience in excess. And whenever there's excess, there's lack somewhere else. So there's a balance, right? And the 4th one is the one that nourishes the land, that nourishes all of the things, all of the areas in your life. So how do your emotions show up in your life, and what do they nourish, right? Sometimes we tend to look at emotions as like, oh my God, this is a bad thing. I don't want to have to feel that. But then the emotions are there as your guidance system. They're there to tell you to bring attention or awareness to a certain part of your life that maybe you're not paying attention to, And the number 3 represents blood in Aztec numerology, and that could be like your family, your lineage, or it could be battles, wars. So when it comes to the lineage part, it's like, what ancestral things do we carry with us? And sometimes we have habits, we have thoughts, we have limitations that are ancestral things. They're not our things. We weren't born with those limitations, but we learned them through our parents, through our grandparents, through our family members. And then the battles is, what are we battling emotionally? What limiting beliefs did you guys end out, or close out over here, release, right? What limiting beliefs did you guys overcome in the ice with the breathing? So this is like the perfect day for all of that work, and to take a look at the feelings that you have, right? When you go through an experience like this, there's an integration process afterwards. Your body is readjusting to this shock, this change. There are opportunities for new neural pathways. So what are you bringing into that, and what are you willing to release at this time? What things are yours and what things are ancestral things? And it's the perfect day to do that because it's water work. So yay. So on the other side, I put a quick introduction to the tarot. A lot of people have different opinions about the tarot. There are people that see it as like, oh, this is like fortune telling, and maybe there are people that can do that. I like to use it as like a mind mapping tool. So all of the cards in the tarot, they represent different archetypes, and they're archetypes that we all have. We're all multifaceted beings, and we have a little bit of everything. So this is a great tool to, like, Danny and I pull cards every morning, and they always are perfectly, like, it's the perfect message. And the reason it's the perfect message is because we're multifaceted beings, right? Everything is going to apply to us at some point or another. And so there's nothing like magical or mystical about it. The magic is, like Danny likes to say, we create our own reality. So when you pull the card, you already decided what card you're pulling today. Your higher self knows. There's no, I didn't have to do any trick of the hands to get you to pull a particular card. Your higher self made a meeting today to come to this ice bath and pull a card and get a message that you needed to hear. And I'm just here to deliver that and to...
That's mystical.
It is. It's mystical because in our world, we don't recognize that sometimes. So it seems like, oh my God, that's so amazing that card came out. And Danny was like, wait till you realize that you're the one that made the card come out. Because that's really what it is, right? We made these decisions. We made these choices. So,
free will.
Yeah.
Free will. Humans,
yeah. There's... Nothing happens by coincidence, It's all choices that we made, and it's all in divine timing and divine perfection. I generally like to give people the cards and have you hold them. You can shuffle them. You can breathe into them. You can pull them any way you want. I usually spread them out and pull one, or sometimes as I'm shuffling the cards and one will just pop out. Then that's your card. You can pull however way you want. I'm going to pass it around so everybody pulls one card, and that way we get X amount of specific messages instead of reshuffling and then maybe getting the same message over and over again. So that way we have a little bit more to work with. So go for it. Oh, and try to check to see which way it came up, if it came up right side up or reversed. And so as I go through each of the cards, keep in mind sometimes the message will be like, okay, I don't see how this applies to my life right now. But maybe it's just a different way of looking at a situation. Sometimes we tend to like set our mind to this is the situation and this is what I have to figure out. And then you'll come in through. Danny pulled that card on the way this morning. And sometimes that happens too. Sometimes we pull the same card over and over again. And it's like, okay, I get it. That's the message.
We need that message.
Yeah. Perfect. I'll put 1, 2. Oh.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So let's start here.